Hello, everyone. Good evening. We have all of the news that you never knew you always needed to know. Thank you, Wolfram, for doing all of the mod stuff. Good evening, observation station. Yeah, I I hesitate to tar all televangelists with, not so great brushes, but they don't seem to have a good track record. Good evening, Puddletown and Peggy Otis. So, our first news story is restoring my faith in humanity, which I probably shouldn't be championing vigilante justice, but I'm kind of okay with it in this particular situation. It was either vigilante justice or, Lord Chippy, and I'm okay with how these things happened. A good Samaritan or a group of Good Samaritans beat up and tied up an Ecuadorian migrant busted in an assault of a sexual nature on a 13-year-old girl at Casena Park. Yep, searching around, can't find a damn to give about this. A group of Good Samaritans helped nab a 25-year-old Ecuadorian migrant wanted for the brutal SA of a 13-year-old girl at a Queen's Park, smacking him around and tying him up with a belt. Dramatic video and photos obtained by the Post shows the shirtless creep, later identified by police as Christian Giovanni Landi, cowered on the sidewalk early Tuesday as an angry mob pounded him and called him out as a grapist. Where are you going? Where are you going? Woman is heard screaming in Spanish while clutching his hair. He's a grapist. He don't care. So this is a gentleman that helped. Well, where is the picture of the moped? I swear. So this is the El Creepo, and then there were a bunch of Good Samaritans that apparently helped wrangle this guy before the cops could get there. The Creepo human dumpster water faces a slew of charges, including rape, kidnapping, SA, after cops arrested him thanks to a flood of help from the public, including Good Samaritans who lassoed him on the street, NYPD brass said later Tuesday. Footage shows the suspect crawling under uh, a car to get away from the angry vigilante mob as bystanders keep screaming. He's under the car. He's hiding under the car because we beat the S out of him, a woman yells as the cop shows up. Beat his A, she adds. I mean, I again find nothing wrong with this story. One man is heard asking in the background, "Where my $10,000 at?" A reference to a reward offered by the cops for the sicko's arrest. One of the civilian heroes said he waited for the creepo to come out of a deli on 108th Street, a few blocks from the park, after recognizing him from a police wanted poster and surveillance video released by the NYPD. "I seen him a few times. He comes to this store to buy stuff." Jeffrey Flores, who pounced on the creep, "I waited for him. I waited the whole day to see if he would come up. He came at night. He came in, went to buy something," Flores, 24, told the Post. "I saw what he was trying to do. He looked back at me. I waited for him to come out of the store and dragged him to the floor. A couple of people helped me." Jeers greeted El Creepo as he was walked handcuffed from a Queens police precinct Tuesday afternoon on his way to be arraigned on those slew of felonies. "Piece of S," one onlooker shouted. The accused molester had been subject of a massive NYPD manhunt since he used a machete-style knife to force the young victim and her friend into a secluded area in Casena Park on Thursday, then tied them up with shoelaces and assaulted them. The cowardly crime mobilized New Yorkers, with police releasing images of the suspect and posting wanted posters throughout Flushing. "He tried to fight back," Flores said. Of the Good Samaritan's encounter with the suspect, he tried to run for his life, but he couldn't. Yeah, he admitted to it. He was saying, all right, don't hit me, don't hit me. I got two little sisters. I'm about to have a daughter on the way, Flores said of the park assault. I don't like that. That's abusive. That's not right. A 22-year-old pal has shown Flores a photo of the accused attacker from Instagram and was there to help take the creep down. Good evening, Rosalind Duke. Thanks for joining. So I'm kind of okay with this. This community banded together to find an evildoer and allowed him to survive to meet, criminal justice in the form of not old, Okie. So I'm I'm having a hard time feeling anything but hell's yeah. You protect your daughters, your sisters, your, community members. I know I should have a better we shouldn't be vigilantes, but I'm kind of okay given what this dude allegedly did. Good evening, JKD Buck. Well, in I don't know why you would have to drink so much, Mr. Timberlake. I mean, you got to be part of a boy band. You got to see both Jennifer Beal and Britney Spears circa pre-shaven head nude. I mean, I don't know why you have to drink so much, but I can only imagine that you 2 get in sync songs stuck in your head. Anyway, Justin Timberlake's mug shot reveals glassy, bloodshot eyes moments after a DWI arrest in the Hamptons. Justin Timberlake's DWI mugshot shows him with glassy red eyes after he was busted for allegedly running a stop sign and weaving in and out of his lane in the Hamptons early Tuesday. The married superstar, 43, had allegedly enjoyed a booze fueled dinner with pals at the American Hotel in Sag Harbor. Okay, y'all, I didn't really know that Sag Harbor is truly a thing. I thought it was just a clothing line. So I was today years old when I learned this. Uh, Long Island, before he got behind the wheel of a 2025 gray BMW. Wait, how does he have a 2025? Look, I'm not a carologist. Do we come out with the next year's numbers? Any hoozle. After midnight and was almost immediately stopped by officers in the Tony Enclave. The former NSYNC star claimed to the cops that he'd only had one martini. Yeah, that's the face of someone who's, "Sir, did you have a bottle of Malort?" Now, I'm only asking because I too am a lightweight, so perhaps you were, overcome by Malort. Good evening, Roxanne and Audio Coffee. Uh, but a competing witness told the Post that Timberlake was wasted to the point where he picked up another man's drink off the table and drank it when the guy was in the bathroom. Officers at the scene reported that his eyes were bloodshot and glassy, and a strong odor of alcoholic beverage was emanating from his breath. Now, police officers of this very swanky place, I am sure that you have no body cam footage of Justin Timberlake doing sobriety field testing, but if you would like to exclusively give that footage to me, just, to help a friend out, that would be great. I'd also like to see him not being able to walk since he can dance, and I don't have that superpower. I would like to see him taken down a peg. Uh, he was unable to divide attention, he had slow speech, he was unsteady afoot, and he performed poorly on all standardized field sobriety tests, according to the criminal complaint. Hey, if it works, it works. Timberlake, who has acknowledged having issues with quote unquote excessive drinking in the past, refused to take a breathalyzer test 3 times, authorities said. The officer who arrested him had no idea who he was, sources said. Oh, not a boy band. You have to get pulled over, and they're not even a look. They liked 98 degrees. I'm sorry, but they were more of a 98 Degrees and, Backstreet Boy kinda guy. Timberlake was arraigned in Suffolk County Court later Tuesday morning on a charge of driving while intoxicated for violations involving blowing a stop sign and failing to stay in his lane and released. So there you go. I am sure he is going to do like an after school special or maybe a TikTok short about how drinking and driving is bad. And that'll be it for him, I'm sure, because it just kind of seems to go that way for Hollywood. Uh, in Lord Chippy awaits this particular man, we have a combination of not only Florida man, but a, a candidate to meet Lord Chippy. Long bone fragments found on in a burn pit after a man admits family of four, including two young children, were set ablaze on his property. What an absolute dumpster fire of a person. Florida deputies allegedly discovered human remains, including those believed to belong to two children, in a burn pit at the property of a man now charged with murder. Rory Atwood, 25, is facing first-degree murder charge after he allegedly admitted to friends that he killed the victims previously reported missing. The human remains have yet to be identified, but deputies believe they belong to Rain Messini, 26, Philip Zoit II, 25, and their children Karma Zoit, 6, and Philip Elliott Zoit III, 5. According to a probable cause affidavit released Monday, the Pasco County Sheriff's Office shortly before 2:30 p.m. June 13th conducted a welfare check on the family after a woman told deputies her brother had received a FaceTime call from Atwood that appeared to show bodies of adults and children. While deputies noticed a smoldering pit on Atwood's 10-acre property in western Paseo County, they did not find anything suspicious during their search, and Atwood denied any knowledge of the family's whereabouts. He reportedly said he had last seen Mancini and the Zilliots on June the 12th. Atwood said the family had been living with them for a couple of months, but he evicted them on June 1st for failure to pay rent. Deputies got a hold of Mancini's mother, who said she didn't know where her daughter was and had last spoken to her on Wednesday but hadn't heard from her since. The family was reported missing, deputies said. Then on Friday, Paseo deputies received another call from one of Atwood's friends who said Atwood admitted to killing Mancini and the Zilliots. Look, we'll have to figure it out. This dude's going on trial. This looks like a terrible case, but we need to, yeah, it just, ugh. Let's see here. Deputies returned to the property with a cadaver dog after that second call. Detectives estimated the pit was 10 feet in diameter and had burned steel threads from tires, suggesting the fire gained intense heat, the affidavit said. The dog sifted through the burnt pit and pulled out what appeared to be small skeletal fragments, according to the affidavit. Crime scene investigators also pulled out long bone fragments along with two apparent human vertebrae, cops said. They also determined the porch area had been cleaned with chlorine. Deputies believe that the family was at Atwood's home Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Atwood's daughter and a friend of Mancini's were there as well. The Paseo County Sheriff's Chris Noco said the adults were drinking when an argument ensued. Those poor two little children, Noco said at a Saturday press conference. We believe they may be on the property deceased, but we don't know that definitively. Detectives also spoke to the mother of Atwood's daughter, who said she received a panicked call from him at around 2:30 a.m. Thursday. He dropped off the daughter at around 5:30 a.m. Atwood was not acting like himself, the girl's mother reportedly told deputies. In an interview with investigators, Atwood at first denied killing or burning Mancini, her husband, and the kids, but Atwood changed his story and claimed that he had unalived them in self defense in a fight where the victims pointed a force multiplier and a knife at him. He allegedly said Zillett started the fire after killing him and Mancini. He threw them in the already burning pit. However, Atwood did not have any injuries that suggested he was in a fight. As for the children, Atwood claimed their parents unalived them. Eventually, he admitted all four family members were burnt in his fire pit, police said. He is at the Paseo County Jail being held without bond. He is expected to face more charges once the human remains are identified. So, this is definitely a case that we will keep eyes on because this will be a court case that I think will definitely be one that might be interesting. Squid Pro Quo, thank you for joining us from work. And you guys, check out Squid Pro Quo's channel. She started a channel, and you guys gave me so much support when I was starting out. So give her a chance. We can all grow together and, you know, invite more people to the party. Uh, Maybe aliens are among us. I don't know why it's all these weird monolithy things, but apparently we've got another one. A mysterious monolith appears in Las Vegas desert, baffling locals. But we see a lot of weird things. A mysterious monolith has appeared in a desert north of Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department says the shiny reflective structure, similar to one found in Utah years ago, was spotted by its search and rescue unit near Gas Peak over the weekend. We see a lot of weird things when people go hiking, like not being prepared for the weather, not bringing enough water. But check this out, police wrote on X alongside the image of the monolith. The discovery comes months after a hiker in Wales captured a video of a mysterious UFO-like monolith on the top of a hillside along the country's border with England. Craig Muir recorded footage showing this shiny object in March while hiking Hay Bluff near Hayon Way. Hayon Way? According to Storyful, I come up here most days and I've never seen this before, Murr said in the video, adding that it looks almost like a UFO. Similar monoliths have been found in Belgium, Romania, and the Isle of Wight, an island in the English Channel. In November 2020, one of the monoliths, estimated between 10 and 12 feet high, was found by Utah State wildlife employees who were counting sheep from a helicopter. Brett Hutching, the helicopter's pilot, said, "It was about the strangest thing I've come across out there in all my years of flying," according to Salt Lake TV's KSL TV. Authorities said at the time that the mysterious object was installed around, so that's the one from Arizona, and now this is the one from Utah. Good evening, Zach. Uh, Authorities said at the time that the mysterious object was installed in the ground in the remote area with no obvious indication of who might have put it there. Bill Gates is just having some fun with us. He's like, hey, what if we make a bunch of weird things? I got like a bunch of money. I need tax write-offs. I say we do we do, oh gosh, 2000 uh a Space Odyssey. Good evening, Tammy. I hope you're doing well. A week later, another monolith was discovered in Atascadero, California, which is north of Los Angeles. It is unclear who is behind the placement of these monoliths. I'm guessing Banksy. A New Mexico art collective claimed responsibility years ago. Interesting. They're just still doing it for poos and giggles? In an update to a story that a lot of people have been following, Riley's strange cause of death has been revealed. Um, Now it looks like there are still more questions than answers, but uh, Riley Strain's family has finally gotten some answers. Nearly 3 months after the University of Missouri's student's body was found, Riley's official cause of death has been attributed to drowning and ethanol intoxication, with the matter cited as accidental, according to an autopsy report obtained by TMZ on June 18th. Uh, in late March, the Metro Nashville Police Department announced the recovery of Riley's body from the Cumberland River in West Nashville 2 weeks after he had gone missing. At the time, they noted that no foul play related trauma was observed. Shortly after, the MNPD's public information officer confirmed to News that an autopsy had been performed and that the cause of death continues to appear accidental, adding that a toxicology report was still pending. However, a friend of Riley's family, Chris Dingman, told News Nation on March 27th that the family had enlisted the help of a private company to have a second autopsy done. 2 days later, a funeral for Riley was held. Riley Strain's presence will be profoundly missed, an obituary for the 22-year-old stated, but his joyous approach to life and the happiness he brought to those around him will forever be remembered. Riley was last seen in Nashville on March 8th, according to MNPD. In an interview with NBC affiliate WSMV, his mother, Michelle Whited, and stepdad, Chris Whited, said the business and financial planning major had traveled from Missouri to Tennessee with some of his fraternity brothers. At one point during the group's evening out, Chris shared, Riley was asked to leave Luke Bryan's bar, Luke's 32 Bridge Food and Drink, and he and his friends got separated. While Chris said Riley told his friends in a phone call that he was heading back to their hotel, his pals couldn't find him there. According to WSMV, the fraternity brothers then tried calling Riley's phone, but he didn't answer. Chris added they checked with the fellow fraternity brothers to see if anyone knew where he was, and then called Riley's parents when he didn't show up. A 911 call obtained by WKRN News 2 heard one of Riley's friends also calling the police to file a missing person report, which led the authorities to search. However, the Whiteds have questioned why the Delta Chi fraternity brothers didn't notify the police of Riley's disappearance sooner. Well, there were a bunch of college boys who were drunk. My guess is that time was a construct they were not quite navigating with alacrity at that moment. We called them on the way down, and it was probably close to 12. And they said they were just going to the sheriff's office to report him missing, Chris said on an April 16th episode of News Nation's Banfield. That was probably 12:15 or 12:30, somewhere in there. News has reached out to the University of Missouri and its Delta Chi chapter for comment, but hasn't heard anything back. Let's see here. So I think the family is still wondering about exactly what went on. And I think sadly, you have a bunch of teen boys, well, not teen, but college boys probably drinking a whole lot. It probably wasn't, you know, it probably wasn't malicious or intentional. They just weren't tracking time. They were trying to find him, but, it's having teenagers is like herding cats. So getting all of them together when they're all intoxicated to try to form an effective search party or even make really good, choices is asking a lot of really young adults heavily intoxicated. So I do hope that the family will maybe find comfort in the second autopsy once those results are also out, and maybe yes, I did, Tammy. I finally got off my behind. I just need to learn how to marry up sounders with those, and I will be even better. Yeah. Uh, well, it depends. Dingus has made an alliance with the youngest, most feral, and they spend most of the day chasing each other around. So, I am not sure. In other news, if you kept your flip phone, Genlennials, they are becoming a hot commodity again, so I say rock out with your, Y2K level phone. We are here. Flip phone sales are surging as folks seek connection without distraction. Flip phones are having a moment. It's true, people are snatching up those basic clamshell throwbacks of the early 2000s faster than a bag of discounted Reese's cups after Halloween. The reasons are simple. We're burnt out on our smartphones, social media, and passively allowing years of our lives to melt away, mindlessly stuck on screens. According to latest statistics, the average person spends nearly 5 hours a day on their smartphone, which equals 6 days a month and a mind boggling 12 years over a lifetime. Our human willpower and band aid fixes like built in social media app time limits don't help. If you took an alcoholic who had a problem with alcohol and couldn't control that, then the best thing to do is get alcohol out of the house, right? So that's sort of how I looked at it. Tech entrepreneur Will Brawley, 49, said of his from his home office in Waxhaw, North Carolina. Brawley, who created and co-owns the popular restaurant management software company Schedulefly, went cold turkey and replaced his iPhone 11 with a basic Verizon flip phone exactly 4 years ago this month. He said he does not miss it at all. I don't like who I was when I had an iPhone, he said. I wasn't present with other people. I was constantly checking emails, texts, sitting at a stoplight looking at my phone, just constantly grabbing the phone, being distracted when I was with my wife and kids. Now, having just a flip phone has been a mental health boon for me, he said. The small inconveniences are enormously outweighed by positive outcomes just for my presence, my mental health, and my anxiety. All of that has improved dramatically. So there you go. He's actually got his little clam phone. Uh, It's a feeling more people can relate to. Lately, I've felt as if hours spent on my smartphone is a never-ending hamster wheel loop of time wasting. I hate it. I want to change, but I just don't. Fed up by spending nearly 9 hours a day engaging with my iPhone recently on texting, emails, social media, binge watching Baby Reindeer, and listening to podcasts or audiobooks. You keep audiobooks out of this. Look, those are needed and necessary for my mental health. You have not been subjected to Coco Melon and Baby Shark. You leave my audiobooks alone, damn it. Uh I switched to using a prepaid Total by Verizon Nokia 2760 Flip for off work hours at night and on weekends. I've already cut my smartphone time in half, which screen time calculator says gives back about 6 years of my life overall. My friends and families have, a number if there's an emergency. Sales of simple flip feature phones, not the snazzy new Samsung Galaxy Flip 5 or Fold 5 smartphones, are up in the US for the second year. According to the tech news site ZDNet, which searches for flip phones, are also surging up. Uh, 15 1,369% over the last year among Gen Z and younger millennials, writes contributor Artie Beatty. Some people credit Gen Z TikTok influencers like Sammy Palazzo, who have garnered more than 7 million views in 2022, when as a college student, she posted about why she only takes a flip phone when she goes out for the night. The gist: it keeps her and her friends more present, eliminate drunks texts and bad hookups, and all the bad things about college and all the good things about a phone, which is connecting with people and taking photos and videos, she wrote. Others point to the nostalgia for all things retro, just like we've seen the comeback of the Sony Walkman and instant cameras in the past year. But the biggest reason for the swell in digital downgrading seems to be more akin to why I snagged a flip phone. I refuse to let $1,000 gadget make me feel powerless over my time, focus, or energy. I mean, to be actually fair, I waste a whole lot of time on my phone, but it does everything. I don't wanna get a new daggone phone and have an other phone for, you know, when I'm y yeah, I'm not getting 2 phones. But it is an interesting idea, and it's a good thing to be mindful of how much time we give to these devices, or, maybe aren't as present with our family because 'cause we're scrolling or attempting to beat level 137 in Candy Crush. Really is an asshole level if you wanna ask me, but, all the time that we waste for that, is a good reminder to be present with our families. In other big legal news, apparently Buster, uh, maybe not using so much strategery. Buster Murdaugh sues over documentaries painting him as the unaliver of Stephen Smith, but defamation case might not be a smart move. Now, these are law and crimes opinions. I am not sure since I am not a lawyer. Buster Murdaugh, the son and namesake of convicted double murderer and fraudster Alex Murdaugh, has filed a lawsuit against Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery, among others, claiming the defendants defamed him in the documentaries Murdaugh Murders, A Southern Scandal, Murdaugh Murders, A Deadly Dynasty, and Low Country, The Murdaugh Dynasty, by either subtly or more directly accusing him of murdering 19-year-old Stephen Smith in 2015. A lawsuit filed last Friday in the Court of Common Pleas in Hampton County, South Carolina, additionally named Gannett, the publisher of Hampton County Guardian, the paper's editor, Michael DeWitt Jr., and production companies behind the documentaries at issue. Buster Murdaugh, who testified at his father's trial about the shock upon learning that his mother, Margaret Maggie Murdaugh, 52, and his younger brother, Paul Murdaugh, 22, were shot to death in June 2021 at the family's Moselle property, said in a statement after Alex Murdaugh's conviction that he categorically denied involvement in Stephen Smith's death. I've tried my best to ignore the vicious rumors about my involvement in Stephen Smith's, or is it Stephen? Tragic death and continue to be published in the media as I grieve over the brutal murders of my mother and brother. I love them so much and miss them terribly, he said in 2023, also forecasting a possible lawsuit. I haven't spoken up until now because I want to live in private while I cope with their deaths and my father's incarceration. Buster added that the rumors were baseless, false, and defamatory as he offered condolences to the Smith family, whose commission of an independent autopsy largely confirmed that the openly gay teenager and former classmate was killed by a single blow to the forehead, traceable to a hit and run. Murdaugh's lawsuit recounted the autopsy findings and the existence of grand jury proceedings as follows. On July 8th, 2015, Stephen Smith, whose car had uh, driven out of gas, was walking along a rural road in Hampton County, South Carolina. It was late at night. As he was walking along the road, he was allegedly struck by part of a vehicle and killed. News sources now report his death as being considered by a statewide grand jury, and the media has reported on individuals unrelated to the plaintiff allegedly being involved in his death. The plaintiff, even though he has been falsely accused of harming Smith, as described below, has not been notified by any law enforcement entities of any allegations against him related to Smith's death. The lawsuit alleges that Buster Murdaugh was defamed in a 10-minute segment of the series, which alluded to him a number of times as the hit and run person uh, involved in this tragic tragic thing. A family lost their son, and I can't imagine how that feels. Let's see here. The false statements have been published to hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of viewers who watch the show, including viewers in South Carolina, and defamatory statements continue to be republished as of the filing of this action, the suit claimed. The series, streamed on Max, Murdaugh's suit said, included false statements that suggest he and other individuals murdered Smith by striking him with a baseball bat in an anti gay hate crime. A sequence of the show accuses the plaintiff of killing Stephen Smith because of his sexual identity and further insinuates that the plaintiff killed him in relation to a romantic relationship between the two. These statements are untrue in their entirety. These statements are defamatory in that they falsely accuse the plaintiff of committing murder, the complaint continued. The Netflix series, the complaint says, clearly chose to show a red haired man with a baseball bat to further paint Buster as the murderer of Stephen Smith. The series publishes statements such as, "Everyone keeps coming to me saying it was the Murdaugh boys," and listening to these statements, it's pretty clear Stephen's death is intertwined with the Murdaughs, the suit claimed. Murdaugh again disputed that he had a romantic relationship with Smith and denied that he and maybe two other individuals were responsible for the murder. The plaintiff attacked productions as reckless, unfair, and biased accounts that defamed him, causing lasting damage to his reputation and mental anguish. Eric Bland, an attorney for Stephen Smith's family, blasted the stunning lawsuit on X in a lengthy commentary predicting the suit will ultimately backfire in a big way since the entities that Buster Murdaugh sued are powerful and will fight tooth and nail against him and could unearth details that might be useful in future documentaries. Bland said the named defendants might view depositions as something of a gold mine. Buster will have to answer questions in a multi-day deposition from every single defendant for this instant about when he met Stephen Smith. Has he ever ridden in a car with Stephen? Has he ever had lunch or dinner with Stephen? Has Stephen ever been to his house? Does he have any knowledge about Stephen Smith's death, etc.? Blaine said. These lawyers are going to ask him hundreds of questions along this nature. There will be discovery into the Murdaugh family. All of Buster's friends will be deposed. Don't forget Buster's name was included multiple times in the investigative files surrounding Smith's death when it was publicly released by the South Carolina Patrol, or Highway Patrol, sorry, in 2021. The lawyer continued. In summarizing his take, Bland said the suit was not a smart move. So there you go. Now, I can tell you guys I wasn't big into the Murdaugh case, so I am not sure how much any of this goes. I mean, y'all could tell because I don't even know if it's Stephen or Stefan who this case is, or this particular lawsuit is in relation to. But I hope for Smith's family that they get answers because I can't imagine the heart-wrenching pain that would come from knowing that your child was all alone, injured, and someone just ran off. They didn't take care of him. They didn't, you know, even call the police, try to do anything to help. So I can imagine that that is just both heartbreaking and enraging. So I do hope eventually whoever turns out to be involved, this family at least gets some answers. Was I keep on the lookout for thrift store finds. A 3.99 thrift store find turns out to be a nearly 2,000-year-old Mayan vase. A vase purchased for 3.99 at a Maryland thrift store turned out to be a nearly 2,000-year-old Mayan artifact. Anna Lee Dozier of Washington said she was shopping at the 2A thrift store in Clinton when her attention was grabbed by an unusual vase. It looked oldish, but I thought maybe 20 or 30 years old, some kind of tourist reproduction thing, so I brought it home, Dozier told WUSA TV. Dozier said she was visiting Mexico on a work trip earlier this year when she noticed some items on display at the Museum of Anthropology bore a startling resemblance to the vase that she purchased for 3.99. She spoke with a museum official who recommended she contact the Mexican embassy when she returned home. Dozer shared photos and dimensions of the vase with the embassy, and the item was identified as a Mayan artifact dating from AD 200 or to 800. Dozier and her family returned the vase to the Mexican ambassador Esteban Montezuma Barragan in a ceremony held at the Cultural Institute of Mexico. I'm beyond thrilled to have played a part in its repatriation story. I would like to go back to its rightful place where it belongs, she said, but I also want it out of my home because I have three little boys and I've been petrified. Well, it's gone now, but I was petrified that after 2,000 years, I would be the one to wreck it. Officials said the vase will eventually have a new home at a Mexican museum. Another thrift store vase purchased for 3.99 from a Goodwill store in Virginia was auctioned last year for over 107,000 or $107,000. Yeah, 100K. When it was found to have been designed by Carlos Scarpea for famed Italian company Vanini in 1942. So there you go. Keep those thrift stores looking for. I'm just saying. Now, this is not financial advice, but I think I'm going to go ahead and take it because it kind of seems like, you know, a good idea anymore. I invest in Lego because it's better than stocks, bonds, and gold, and I've made $500,000 in 2 years. Teach me your skills, Jedi Master. Shane O'Farrell didn't intend to get rich buying and selling Lego. All the 35-year-old from New Jersey wanted was a connection to his childhood back in Ireland, where the modest Fort Legadero was one of his favorite playthings. 20 years later, when he saw kits going for hundreds higher than its 1996 retail price of $85, it was a light bulb moment for the side hustle seeker. O'Farrell quickly jumped onto what has proved to be a lucrative market of buying and flipping coveted Lego sets online. The same set that he loved currently sells for $2,405. The savvy service engineer is one of a growing number of investors shelling out their hard earned cash on plastic bricks at a time when Lego's resale value has been growing by 11% annually and outpaced stocks, bonds, and gold, according to a 2022 study. I started trying to invest in stocks and realized at 8% a year that I'm making in the stock market isn't really going to work. It's not really going to get me where I want to go, O'Farrell told the Post. It would take me decades. In the past 2 years alone, his toy trading has netted him nearly $500,000. The time it takes is very minimal, so I can do it on top of my full time job and create a supplementary income. I mean, I'm kind of okay with this idea. Again, general disclaimer, if you are taking life guru advice from me, I'm a dingus on the internet who wears wigs, okay? Hot mess express is my general mode of daily life. So don't take advice from me, people. He's so enthusiastic about his part-time gig that O'Farrell even shares tips for prospective investors on his YouTube channel, BrickBucks. What's required is a standard sized storage unit for inventory and a sharp set of eyes monitoring the companies, he said. O'Farrell reads the annual LEGO release finance and trend reports while also keeping tabs on when sets are being retired to help determine future value. After LEGO stopped selling a certain model, that's when shops opened for sellers like O'Farrell. Recently, that was the LEGO Star Wars TIE Fighter pilot helmet model. It was $60 before being retired in 2021, but then by a year and a half of being retired, it was $350. O'Farrell said, "You're taking about a 400 stop putting the cat on the desk. He goes to the keyboard. Good evening, Fun Diane. It was $60 before. Oh, it was a 400% return on investment. The Lego collaborations with gigantic franchises like Star Wars, Harry Potter, or Marvel don't always guarantee an upped resale, he said. Instead, scarcity is the key. Sets exclusively for sale at one store, since they will likely be fewer manufactured, tend to be the best due to post retirement demand. There's also a market solely for minifigures inside a set. They're so desired that bandits recently broke into a group of California stores and made off with $100,000 worth of them. Recently, O'Farrell spotted a surge in demand for minifigures sold in the Lego's $460 Barad-dûr set from Lord of the Rings. So now, do I want all of the Lord of the Rings Legos? The answer is yes. Do I need to find a rich patron that will just buy Legos for me? Uh, that, I'd be okay with, you know, getting all of the Lord of the Rings Legos, but Mr. Mo says we can't, invest $1,000 into all the Lord of the Rings Lego sets right now. People were selling just the minifigures from the set for $250, he said, of the towering Eye of Mordor model. Over time, Hobbit-sized Frodo Baggins, Samwise Gamgee, Gollum, and others will likely be worth even more. O'Farrell said, "Flipping Legos is easy because the value goes up over time. You just need to be patient. You could just buy the stuff, put it away somewhere in a storage unit, and wait for the price to go up," he said. "The workload is quite low." Another seller and YouTuber personality, David G., who doesn't use his last name for privacy reasons and instead goes by GG Bricks, said, "It's something like running a wine cellar. I'm purchasing products available today. I'm storing them in safety in anticipation of some future customer years down the line. It's a waiting game, he told the Post. The 27-year-old freelance videographer based in Chicago has sold $20,000 worth of Lego sets in his lifetime. Out of the estimated thousand he invested in and held on to for years, only one that did not pay off was a $12 Disney Frozen set that he had resold for $10. Still, DG doesn't call the Lego economy an investment cheat code. There's tons of savviness needed to make a profit. There's always a lot of asterisks that go into that eye-popping return on investment number, he said. You have to buy at the right price. You obviously have to pick the right sets. Not all sets appreciate at the same rate or at all. However, DG says it can be an ideal market for Gen Zers and millennials to dip their toes in, especially since adult toy demand surpassed that of preschoolers for the first time ever, amounting to 1.5 billion in sales from January to April. For a young person like me, I have abundant time on my hands, but what I lack is a significant capital kind of nest egg. I think for young people starting out in that position, you should take that trade off. I will put more work in exchange for a higher return on investment. As the world's current most valuable toy brand, Barbie doesn't even come close. More people are indeed putting their dough into plastic bricks. John Kanjimi, all these names. It can never be a Smith. No, it's some sort of other name. A 26-year-old fintech worker in the financial district has been an avid Lego builder since he was 5, but just started out as a seller. He bought a Star Wars Lego Grogu set a year and a half ago and plans to hold it for 5 years before flipping it. I genuinely believe that building things and being creative as a kid leads to your mental growth. Can remember the feelings that came with it to this day. I'm glad I was growing like that as a kid without a phone in my hand, and now I can grow my bank account too. I mean, that is pretty amazing. I do like stories like this, but now I definitely just want all the Lord of the Rings Legos, which is probably, well, okay, it's definitely not for investment purposes, but I need to have my own office where my Legos can be safely stored under glass and lock and key if I'm going to invest that much. Uh, well, Dad's behaving badly in our final story. Uh, Father's Day did not go as planned for these dads. An insane six-man golf brawl breaks out during a Father's Day round. This Father's Day golf outing went very, very wrong. On a beautiful Sunday afternoon at the Raccoon Hill Golf Club in Kent, Ohio, chaos ensued with a six-way brawl at a golf course. Six men were seen aggressively tackling and beating each other in the middle of the course, as you do. Look at this S, one onlooker says. What the F is going on here? Holy S, exclaimed another. A whole effing brawl, the first onlooker said, before providing some play-by-play action. Look at this. They're beating him down. This guy's got a shirt over his head. Look at this. Holy crap. You guys won't be able to hear it, but you can definitely, well, actually, I think YouTube might not be happy with me showing violence, but it was a bunch of dads apparently playing, full contact, combat golf. It was combat golf. When asked by other social media users what sparked the quarrel, uh, the at Barn Rat Vape God wrote, quote, "A 4-footer for the match wasn't given and the guy airballed it." I'm sure that means something in golf language. In other words, one golfer firmly believed he was entitled to a 4-foot gimme for the match after missing the putt just moments before, so he punched his buddy over it. Makes sense, right? While we hope none of these knuckleheads are fathers, they sure used Father's Day as a prime example of how not to behave in front of their children. In a follow up post, Barn Rat Vape God confirmed that the cops were indeed called. However, they still had a better Father's Day than Rory McIlroy, who blew his shot at winning the 2024 US Open by missing two short putts over the final three holes, falling short to Bryson uh, DeChambeau. Yeah, I have no idea golf, but there you go. So I hope that, these guys, had a wonderful time calling their wives to get bailed out of a public disorder and probably public intoxication charge. But those are the stories for tonight. Dingus is curled up. Apparently, the youngest, most feral wore him out today. Now, tomorrow I will be doing mornings with Mo, and then at noon, I will be doing another installment in the State Strikes Back, the 337-page uh, Do Not Bite Cords, you dingus. You are going to electrocute yourself. Uh, um, but I will be doing another live stream of the Scott Peterson's state's rebuttal. So if you guys are going through serious court withdrawals, you know, there will be a stream, of some court style shenanigans going on. And then don't forget tomorrow evening at 8, Baker is having his panel with all sorts of cool people about the Karen Reed case. So after Newsy News, go watch there because it looks like it's going to be uh, an awesome live panel with a bunch of people talking about the Karen Reed case. So I hope you guys have a good evening. I will see you guys in the morning and then at noon. And then we also do have some Delphi updates that are getting spice-tacular. So I will be hoping to get a couple good videos out about that too. So attempting to be a functional human being tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great evening. I am not sending you off to anywhere, so you are free to enjoy whatever YouTube you so choose. I will see you guys. Stop biting the cord. You are a dingus. You are the youngest, most feral in cat form. I will see you guys in the morning. Bye.